guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry as always, it's been a while since I did a video. It's always best laid plans. We don't need to talk about that. I hope everybody had a really good holiday season and a happy new year. I kind of wanted to start 2018 videos off with a bang. If anybody is like me, you might be a little bit burned out from the holidays. You spent a lot of money on other people. You spent a lot of money on yourself. You know, you're kind of partied out. You're sort of ready to get some goals on track for 2018, you know, regardless of whether or not those actually play out. Time will tell. So today's video I wanted to do on what I consider the 4 top like investment Chanel bags to be. So like if you're coming into 2018, if you're buying your first bag, your second bag, you know, your 15th bag, whatever, I just wanted to share with you my opinion on, you know, over the years, I've collected so many bags. I've been collecting bags for almost 10 years now. And, you know, there are some major contenders that kind of float to the surface as far as what I think investment pieces are that'll sort of hold their value and their shape and their style for the long run. So let's just get into it. I'm going to give measurements and product codes for the bags. I'm not doing any sort of like what fits type thing. You'll soon sort of see why I have an array of classic bags to share and then bags that are sort of like out of season, but there's a certain theme that we'll discuss as the video comes along. So anyway, my first top investment bag is not going to come as a surprise to anybody. It is the classic Chanel wallet on a chain. So I wanted to show you guys this one because this is actually either the second or third bag I ever bought as a collector. It's a burgundy patent leather wallet on a chain with silver hardware. It does not have a pocket on the back. Some of the newer ones do, but this bag has really stood up to the test of time. It's gorgeous. It's like timeless. I know that they've actually come out with this color since when I bought it, which must have been back in like, I don't know, it was about like eight or 9 years ago. They've come out with this color since, and as you can see, it's definitely held its like luster and shine. It's an absolutely gorgeous bag. On top of that, you know, you're getting a classic Chanel bag or something that's sort of considered to be iconic. And, you know, it has the card slots, as everybody knows, for cards on the inside, which means that this bag has plenty of room to hold a phone, you know, a lipstick, even like a card holder, like some smaller leather goods, and you're pretty much good to go. So as far as my first recommendation for you guys, it would definitely be the Chanel wallet on a chain. Let me get my notes. So the Chanel wallet on a chain is 5 inches high, 7.5 or so inches across, and it's 1.25 inches deep. Mine is kind of flat. I guess that is sort of a test of time situation. It has kind of flattened over the edges. And yes, in case anybody was wondering, it does hold like the big iPhone. So I have a 7 Plus and it's fine. The style code for this, if you're ever in the market for a wallet on a chain, is A as in Apple 33814. So if you call the 800 Chanel number, which I'll put here at the bottom of the screen, and you give them this style code, they'll be able to tell you essentially what kind of bags along the wallet on a chain are available. And this bag comes in at $2,500. So, bag one. My second contender for bags are the Chanel minis. So I have 2 here. This is the square Chanel mini, and this is the rectangular Chanel mini. Both of these bags I've had for a really long time. Similar situation as with the wallet on a chain. They've both like held up absolutely beautifully. The reason that I recommend these is that you still have like a fairly low price point as far as Chanel classic bags are concerned, and they hold a ton of stuff. You know, as long as you're not going crazy, you can definitely get small wallets into both of these. You can get the large iPhone into both of these. You can get key holders into both of these, maybe like a cosmetic piece or two. They really hold quite a bit. I think I have a video already on like what fits in the square mini. So if you want to check that out, I go through like kind of a host of options as far as, you know, what you're able to put into this bag. So the square mini, let's start with this one, retails at $3,100. and it's 5.3 inches high by 6.7 inches across, and then it's 3.5 inches wide. So I'll hold them up together, but it's significantly wider than the rectangular mini. And then you open it, and on the inside you obviously have a little tiny pocket in the back that the camera is not really picking up. Well, trust me, there's a little zipper pocket in the back and a little pocket for cards. And then otherwise it's leather lined. It's absolutely a gorgeous all around bag. The rectangular wallet, or the rectangular mini, on the other hand, retails for $200 more. So it's $3,300 as opposed to $3,100. And the measurements are 5 inches high by 8 inches wide, and then it's 2 inches deep. So when you put them up next to each other, you can see obviously the blue, the black one is wider. The blue one is sizably longer, and then they're both about the same height, you know, sticking them up next to each other. And they really do hold just about the same amount of stuff. The product code for the Square Mini is A as in Apple, 35200. So again, if you call that number and you give them that code, they'll be able to tell you who's got what and what's available as far as like leathers, colors, that type of thing. And then the code for the rectangular mini is A69900. So same story. So I think, again, you know, here you're coming in, you've got the look, you have actually a classic bag, right? It's a beautiful, both of these are beautiful bags, but they're on the lower end of the price spectrum. So I think, you know, as far as like an entry-level bag is concerned, you could probably look at a wallet on a chain or one of these minis and be totally satisfied with something that'll kind of have longevity in the future. Okay, my third recommendation for Chanel value bags is I had to pick a big one. As you know, Chanel has a medium large, a jumbo, and a maxi size. That's kind of when you're starting to talk like bigger, more substantial, more expensive Chanel bags. And my selection from those three is definitely the jumbo. And I'll say this, the same would be said for if you wanted to get a reissue 226, which is approximately the same size. The reissue just has the different clasp. I just don't happen to have one of those. So the jumbo size of either the classic Chanel, which is this, or the jumbo size of the reissue, I think I'd have the same opinion on. So this is the jumbo. The jumbo measures 8 inches high by 11 inches wide, and it's 4 inches deep here. The current retail price on this, we're getting into like kind of uncharted territory on Chanel prices, in my opinion. They just went up in November of 2017, is $5,900, which is huge. But if you're in it and you're thinking about getting a large sized Chanel bag, the medium large is $600 less. It's $5,300, and it holds substantially less, in my opinion, than the jumbo. I have always looked at the medium large as an absolutely beautiful bag, but for all intents and purposes, it holds about the same stuff as a rectangular or square mini is concerned. It's not, it doesn't provide a lot in terms of space, despite the fact that it's beautiful. The jumbo, however, holds like everything and more you could possibly want. Your other option obviously would be a maxi. The maxi to me is like verging into like the luggage category. It's like the biggest bag of all time, and that's $6,400. So I think if you're looking at your first big Chanel piece, like you're ready to kind of take that jump and get something big, I'd go jumbo. I also think, you know, I know a lot of people worry about like body size in terms of like, am I too short or am I too tall? I have not really seen a jumbo look like too big on like a shorter person. So I guess I'm not really addressing that. I'm looking at this more from like a value standpoint. So of course, like, you know, if it's something where it's totally overwhelming you, or if you're really tall and it's just too small, you know, you can kind of adjust accordingly. But from a value standpoint, I think the jumbo is totally where it's at. Okay. And then my last suggestion for value bags is, every season, Chanel comes out with bags that, I'm gonna move back. I feel like I'm so close to you guys. I just wanted to get close. So every season Chanel comes out with a host of bags that sort of fall in the like flap category, where they have the look of a classic, but they're not a classic and the price point is right. So I'm going to show you 3 that I've purchased over the years. You'll see right away that they look essentially like Chanel classic bags. I'm going to give you the prices, but the product codes are kind of a moot point because I think the last one that I purchased was in 2015 and I have a separate video on it and I don't know if it's still available. So in order of purchase, this was my second Chanel bag, guys. This is called the Chanel In the Business. And this is a calfskin. I don't think this has ever been featured in a video before because it hasn't really like fit in anywhere, but it's a navy blue calfskin. And it has a pocket on the back, but it's like a flat pocket. It has the silver chains. It has 4 grommet holes. And the reason I'm showing it to you is because it kind of looks like a jumbo, right? For all, like, I mean, if you were just out and about walking around, you saw one of these, I could easily see somebody just think like, oh, it's just a classic Chanel bag. It looks like a classic flat bag. So I purchased this guy in 2012 and it was $2,650. So I don't know how to really adjust that for inflation, but it's essentially the same price as a wallet on a chain and you get the look of a classic bag. So this is just one example of one of the flat bags that Chanel comes out with every year that is sort of in line with the classic. The second one that I purchased, this bag I still love, is and I think I got it in 2015, I want to say, so 3 years ago. This is the Chanel Coco Shine in pink patent leather. To me, this looks so much like a rectangular mini. I mean, it's a little bit bigger than a rectangular mini, but again, you know, if you're out and about and you're just kind of looking for a bag that sort of looks like a classic Chanel, despite the fact that it's not, this is a totally other good option, something along these lines. And this bag retailed back in 2015 for $3,100. So this is the same price as the square mini today. You get a little bit more size than both the rectangular flap and the square mini. You also, again, have the benefit of the 4 grommet holes on the top. I don't know why they don't just bring that back. That's like something I wish they would do, because you can obviously then adjust the length. So then you're wearing this either as a shoulder bag or longer as a crossbody bag. But again, here's an example of one of like the Chanel flat bags that comes out every year that has the look of a classic. And then my most favorite one for price point, which I've done a totally separate video on, is one that I bought in 2016. And this is the Chanel Mademoiselle Chic bag. And this retails for $3,800, or retailed for $3,800. So here again, you have totally the look of a classic bag. This one, you even get you have the pocket on the back, so it looks even more like a classic bag, but it simply isn't. And if you hold it up next to, I think if you held it up next to a reissue, so the 226 size reissue is a little bit smaller than a jumbo, but as you can see, like it's kind of in the weird, maybe it's a middle ground between like a medium large and a jumbo. But again, here you have like the look of the classic bag in terms of like the quilting, the shape of the flap, and then you have obviously the pockets on the back, so it looks very similar. And this bag is $2,000 less than the jumbo. So again, you know, you've got a bag that's going to have like staying power as far as like the quality is concerned, and you're going to get the look of, you know, essentially a Chanel classic without having to pay Chanel classic prices. So I haven't taken the opportunity to look at sort of like what's coming out this year for like something that kind of looks like a Chanel classic flap, but you'll know it when you see it. So if you head into like a boutique, you know, and you take a look at a bag and it's, you know, cheaper than a classic, then you know you're probably in the right place. And all these bags that I showed you today, you know, the wallet on the chain and the In the Business flap, I think I've seriously had for like 8 or 9 years. And as I've told you guys before, I'm not specifically gentle on my handbags, and they've all stood the test of time. So I don't think you have huge concerns about quality. So anyway, thank you for joining me for my first video of 2018, and I promise that I'll have more coming up soon. Have a great day, guys.